In order to have a food insecurity issue, you must have food. So the question stands, do you know where your food comes from? Looking at a cross-section of people from Trinidad and Tobago, this video poses this question to the group while simultaneously educating them as to what it means to be food insecure and the reason why this may occur in the local country setting. It then suggests ways to solve this issue. Here's a thoughtful question. Do you know where your food comes from? Let's ask. Where does your food come from?
The market.
Where does your food come from?
Where does my food come from? That's a good question. I never really think about it.
Where does my food come from? How far back you want me to go? Grocery?
You doing?
Animals, vegetables, plants. Generally, I buy to the grocery and the market.
I believe was what type of food you're talking about? Because chickens come from, eggs come from farms, vegetables come from gardens and farms. What do you mean which country it come from?
Where my food has come from, I just say grocery market. Restaurants. Yeah, that's about it. I used to plan. But time to open.
All food, I think all food, everything provided by us is provided by God. I mean,
Comes from the earth.
Right. Any other answers?
Grocery.
Alright, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that multiple choice or?
Where does your food come from?
Well, most of my food comes from the grocery. Like anyone else, the market, the grocery. But sometimes we actually get food from our garden. We have a backyard garden that we plant celery, pak choy, tomatoes, and sometimes we utilize that. I know where that is coming from, but generally it's from the grocery.
Our import bill in Trinidad and Tobago is really high, and our food mainly come from the USA. We import provisions and bananas from the Upper Island, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada, and that's where my food comes from.
Most of it comes from abroad. We have a high food import bill, and as a result of that, sellers assume that we don't produce enough to sustain our local economy, our local market. So we are vulnerable to our developed countries who are producing our food.
As you heard, the responses were varied and also correct, but they did not all capture the bigger picture. In Trinidad and Tobago, the majority of food is imported. Since this is where most of our food comes from, what's going to happen when people are unable to purchase food due to high prices or unavailability? In short, one can see that Trinidad and Tobago faces food insecurity. If this is the case, how do we solve this problem? First, we need to solve the underlying issue: lack of awareness. There is a clear need to educate the wider public as to the importance of agriculture and to understand that the whole food cycle, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but around the world. We need more, a greater push towards a better understanding of the bigger picture, simply because we need to be food secure. Food is a necessity. Despite this being an obvious fact, many are unaware. We cannot wait for food insecurity to become more of a problem. Solving one problem helps to solve the other. But how do we solve these issues?
I'm a farmer, a young entrepreneur, agricultural entrepreneur. I produce food, primary production level. I mainly do citrus, ground provision, also small short vegetables at times. Well, the concern where food security is concerned, Many people don't know exactly where their food come from. They think it might more be coming from a grocery directly, but that is not true. I actually grow food, and from the primary production level, food has to go through a series of chain events whereby it actually reach the plate of the consumer.
Strategies include a public education program on agriculture with greater involvement of farmers. As a small country, making use of price ceilings on imported food. Emphasize the production of quality local food. Involve sustainable agricultural practices in farming, along with marketing of this activity to improve the public perception on local food. Limit the export of food from the country. These are all powerful ideas, but will they succeed? As a small island state, can we afford to enact on these strategies? The Youth Ag Summit provides a great opportunity to examine the situations of other countries that face similar issues. Developing countries can learn from other developing countries rather than trying to emulate unsuitable benchmarks. Lessons and strategies in achieving food security via public awareness can be passed on at the community level. As one can see, the issue of food insecurity is a dynamic one, so in tackling the issue, one needs to be just as dynamic. The Youth Ag Summit provides such a dimension.